Welcome to another edition of Super Low Rent Sports Talk Theater. I'm Joe Ovius, that's Chris Clark.
The Double Dribble Edition 2.0.
Now, before we do get things started here on Super Low Rent Sports Talk Theater, big event happened earlier in the week, and that is the resignation of Bobby Knight. Sudden, to say the least. He leaves his son, Pat Knight, to take over the Texas Tech Raiders team. Initial thoughts on Bobby Knight retiring, Chris?
Way to check out with 10 games left in the season. You go, Coach.
Not bad for a guy who coaches about discipline, never giving up, and then all of a sudden bouncing when it's convenient. So, really, the only words of wisdom that I have for Bobby Knight, my fitting tribute to the coach, the general, as he walks off into retirement sunset is...
One up there, Joe.
I'm sorry. It's you know what it is? It's Duke, Carolina. It's got me a little riled up. My elbows are feeling a little itchy. You know what I mean? It's a little strange like that. In fact, Duke, do you hear? What is that? Do you hear that?
What is it? What is that noise?
It's weird. Oh, God, you... What? Oh, you bastard. Are you bleeding?
Am I bleeding?
Yeah, I think you are bleeding.
Oh
no, my bad, dude. I was just getting you a new beer.
Oh.
That's all that was going on. I had to get up and get you a new beer because I know you were running out of the other one.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, dude. Didn't mean to do that. You're a good kid. Don't worry. You're a tough kid. Sorry about that. Moving on. Things get bloody on this program from time to time. But then again, this isn't the first time that Duke and Carolina have seen a little blood between the two. Certain Eric Montross might have something to say about that, Chris?
I do recall something like that. Do we got a photo?
Wow.
Montross smash!
Are we going to see a Tyler Hansbrough smash later today?
I don't think Psycho T is going to see Gerald Henderson on the floor and suddenly want to go... That's not likely to happen. The guys want to put it behind them. That's fine. Let them. The TV cameras, I'm sure, will want to replay the whole incident from last year. The fans are excited about it, but other than that, it's not that big a deal.
Funny thing about this is that, you get it all? Yeah, you're good. Again, sorry about that, man. Hopefully the beer. I sit with the beer. The funny thing about it is Tyler Hansbrough and Gerald Henderson have actually played against each other since that incident. There was a pickup game over the summertime. They have talked about it, and I doubt anything's really going to happen. More of it's going to come from the Smith Center fans who, if they're not wearing elbow pads or having something ingenious, I really, really am going to be disappointed in the student section at the Smith Center.
I will be majorly disappointed in the student section at the Smith Center if they all haven't found ways to get masks for tonight's game.
Oh, man. Imagine if Tyler Hansbrough, just as a joke, showed up in a mask. That'd be pretty funny. Like, that ain't happening again, dude. I'm sorry.
Taking precautions now.
Let's talk about the actual game. The big story leading up to this 9 o'clock matchup, which you can hear on Sports Radio 850 The Buzz and 620 The Bull, where my boys hanging out weekdays 10 to 1. You won't see Ty Lawson. Roy Williams was talking earlier in the week about how his point guard likely will not play. We know he did not practice earlier in the week. Obviously, it's going to affect the matchup with this contest. But, Chris, Carolina can still win without Ty Lawson running point.
Yeah, they can. Quentin Thomas isn't nearly as good as Ty Lawson in terms of a point guard, but Carolina still has the main advantage over Duke that they had going into the game, and that's Tyler Hansbrough down low. Duke, of course, has something that Carolina has trouble with, and that's the ability to beat you off the dribble or just a hit from the perimeter. Carolina's not the greatest defensive team when it comes to those two aspects.
Be interesting how these mismatches work themselves out. It's funny. Both teams have major voids that can be exploited. Really, it's going to come down to who runs that offense. I really like Duke. They've come on strong. Really a surprise this season. And frankly, without Ty Lawson, who wasn't a defensive stopper to begin with, you have to wonder about Carolina's ability to work the perimeter game. Duke has been hitting these shots. John Shire, who has not been blowing up, is just primed for a game like this to go off. In the same way that Carolina can come out victorious if somebody like Marcus Ginyard has a great game, maybe even somebody like Danny Green, who has been in a bit of a funk offensively, comes up big with a couple of threes.
Well, first of all, when is Duke being good ever a surprise?
Last year they weren't good. Pretty simple.
That's the surprise. Duke being on top of the ACC is never a surprise as long as Mike Krzyzewski is on the bench and there are McDonald's All-Americans on the team. As for Danny Green, he has been in a funk, but he shot the ball pretty well in the Florida State game and was hitting from the perimeter. I think the bigger question for Carolina is, are they going to get a Wayne Ellington game, which hasn't been around in some time?
Well, Chris, we talked about it enough. Mismatches, who's got an advantage over what. It's time to man up and actually pick who's going to win this game. Who do you got?
Oh, I'm going to let you go first there, Chief. You seem to want to make some type of prediction.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Duke, I think, has been playing better basketball than Carolina for a better portion of the season already. Even with Ty Lawson in the lineup, I think Duke has been more of the ACC team to beat. I like Duke in this game. Gerald Henderson has been playing fantastic basketball. You combine that with this heel-like attitude. You're talking wrestling here. That dude's walking in the Smith Center as the heel. Like, bad rock.
Please, Joe, if you're going to make wrestling references on this show, they're Four Horsemen originating only.
My bad.
Gerald Henderson is a guy that probably is going to roll into the Smith Center with about as much love as, I'm going to go with Arn and Ole Anderson with Tully Blanchard riding shotgun. I like the heels to win, though. I'll be honest with you. I know that Ty Lawson isn't in the game, but Quentin Thomas is a senior, and he does play well against Duke. And ultimately, as long as they can get the ball across half court without turning it over.
That's all you got for Quentin Thomas? He is a senior? That's it?
What do you want? He's not that good, and he has a ridiculous hairdo. I'm trying to accentuate the positives.
Look, I'm not trying to knock on Quentin Thomas. You hope that he actually has a signature moment as a Tar Heel, being that he is a senior. But it's an adventure every time he brings up at the court. And if one thing that we've noticed from Duke is that they feast on turnovers. Look at what happened against Florida State without Ty Lawson. 21 turnovers against a Florida State team. Duke will turn those into points.
Quentin Thomas had 2 of those 21 turnovers. The rest were created by guys who were trying to put the ball on the deck and do something that they're not exactly great at. And in that game, without Ty Lawson, Tyler Hansbrough still found a way, despite not even having a good shooting performance from the floor, to be effective. He rebounded, and that's the key that North Carolina has. They're going to attack the glass. I think the Tar Heels win at home because it is in the Smith Center, and they will be amped up in Chapel Hill. The Wine and Cheesers wake up for one game a year, and that's when Duke comes to town.
Funny thing about this matchup, Chris, we're putting a lot of emphasis on the rivalry, as we should, but in the grand scheme of things, Ty Lawson being in this game or not being in this game is irrelevant. The real important thing for Carolina is Ty Lawson completely healthy come March?
That is something we'll have to wait until Charlotte to find out.
That's going to wrap it up for another edition of Super Low Rent Sports Talk Theater, Volume 2, Episode 2, Double Dribble Style. Chris, I apologize for getting that beer for you earlier. I didn't know you were going to be in the way. I was just going for the hard play to the bar.
You owe me a beer, jerk.
We'll see you guys next week.